The highly anticipated movie A Wrinkle in Time is based on the best-selling 1962 novel of the very same name. The movie is directed by the great Ava DuVernay. She's a big award winner who's best known for Selma and Queen Sugar. The story follows a teenager named Meg who travels through time to rescue her missing father.
Along the way, she's helped by three supernatural beings called the Misses. Reese Witherspoon portrays Mrs. What's-It. Mindy Kaling plays Mrs. Who, and Oprah Winfrey portrays the wisest, Mrs. Which. Here's a preview.
Well, no.
Wait, what's happening? Wait, no, Charles Wallace, don't go over there.
No time to waste, Meg. Come on, Mrs. What's-It?
You just have to find the right frequency and have faith in who you are. Let's find your father. Shall we?
Let's find your father.
So, Oprah, is this you? Who is your character? Tell me about
Mrs. Which is a combination, for me, of Glinda the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz, which is my favorite movie of all times and actually one of my favorite spiritual enlightenment teachings when Glinda says, you've always had it, always had the power. So the very idea of being able to portray one of the wisest women in the millennia was exciting to me.
Not a stretch.
Felt right at home.
Yes.
No, because I have been counseled by some of the wisest, Maya Angelou. So she felt like a combination, this character, Mrs. Which, felt like a combination of Maya. I could hear Maya in my head the whole time, every time I spoke, and of Glinda. You've always had it, my dear. Glinda the Good Witch. And there are many lines that my character, Mrs. Which, says, like, all you have to do is find the right frequency and have faith in who you are. Those are not my exact words, but many, many times when I'm counseling my own girls for my school in South Africa, I'll say, you got to find your flow. I mean, it's a way of speaking to them about being who you are, finding your flow, staying in your lane, not worrying about what the other person is doing. So when Mrs. Which says, just finding your frequency and having faith in who you are, that's kind of coming from a
But you say the
space.
star of the movie is Storm Reed, who I hear is described as golden.
She is golden.
Love
so
her.
let me say, this would be like, I'm out promoting this movie because, first of all, I believe in Ava DuVernay.
Yeah, me too.
And wanted to support her to the highest degree. But it's not my movie. It's Storm's movie. It's Derek McCabe's movie, who plays a little boy. It's Levi's movie. And it's a story of this young girl who's searching for her father out in the cosmos. And in the search discovers herself. So it's a wonderful children's movie. And,
Ava described it as family fantastical movie. I like that too.
Okay, it is,
I like
but I
that.
want you to know that it would be like,
But it's not your
it's not my movie. It'd be like Glinda the Good Witch,
Well,
talking about the Oz as being her movie. It's not my movie.
I was obsessed with your eyebrows, I have to say, but I was mostly obsessed with Meg.
Yeah,
and
with Storm Reed.
What a character, and empowering, and obviously the timing is tragic
For
and
young girls.
coincidental. But when you see the students in Parkland and you see the power that they have, and I watched this movie on Friday, and you see the power and confidence that these children have, you can't help but be walking away feeling confident about children really being leaders in the world.
I'm particularly excited about children everywhere, and it's been pointed out to me that there were children marching in Ferguson and children marching in Chicago and now children marching in Parkland. I believe the children are the future. I believe that just like the civil rights movement, it was the young people who said we've had enough. It was the young people who said, we are not going to tolerate what our parents have tolerated for years. And I believe that we're on the verge of something really, really big happening.
It does feel different.
culture.
In fact, you gave $500,000 to that cause.
Yes, I did.
Because you want to make sure that the kids who want to get there can get there.
That's right. For kids who want to come from all around the country who want to be able to get there and can't afford to get there.
But are you
That's why I
planning
give
to
it.
be at the march?
I'm not planning to be at the march because I think the march should be about the children and not about,
I want to go back to the movie about the children because this is what people are saying about the great Ava. Elaine Welteroth Welter Roth, who is a former Teen Vogue editor, said, "If you had told me as a little girl that I would be standing in the presence of absolute greatness to bear witness to a little brown girl with big curly hair saving the world on the big screen, I might have known my own magic sooner." Journey Bell says, "Thank you, Ava, for taking us on a dreamy ride and adventure with a little brown girl." This was Ava's call to cast the movie this way.
Yes, it was her call to put a little brown girl at the center of it, Storm Reed, and also to diversify the Mrs. Because when those of you who grew up with the book, the Mrs. don't look like me or look like Mindy or even Reese for that matter. So I think, Ava's whole work on the planet is about inclusion and about
yours too,
and mine too.
I love you and Ava together because you guys are a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's really good.
You play off of each other really well.
But we don't want people to mistake. This is a story about adolescence, but that's a more universal message. This idea of finding your own voice and your own path. Right?
Yes.
It's not just for. That's why the book has such wide appeal.
Well, yes, and it's not just well. That's why it's a fantastical book for children, families, young girls, is because it's about discovering your own voice at the age where you're trying to figure out, is it my voice or should I do what everybody else wants me to do?
And overcoming insecurities as well. What, if any, insecurities have you had in?
I've had a lot to overcome, but I think the most important, essential thing to understand about all of us, that the thread that runs through all of us, is what Meg says at the end of the movie. I deserve to be loved. Remember in that, where she says,
Yes,
I deserve to be loved. And I think people are, they suffer in direct proportion to how they don't believe that they deserve to be loved. And so it all comes back to how loved are you, and do you believe that you're worthy of being loved?
Which goes back to what you were saying about the schools.
Yes.
About kids who need.
Yeah, and if you've been
someone to love.
traumatized, you can't feel that. You can't get to those feelings. Yes. Thank you all.
No, we're not done.
thought that
We're
we
not
were
done.
done.
One more.
escape.
One more subject.
No, one more subject.
Oh, all right. So let me ask you about this call for you to run for the president. Let me leave it outside.
No, you already said no, that it's
Right.
not in your DNA.
I want to, but I'm interested in the notion of when you hear the call about whatever you do. How do you know now is the time for me to step in and step up?
Because it's something you will feel. Now, I will tell you all that I was I was in my gym in Maui, rehearsing the speech. And that's where you first heard the speech, in the gym in Maui.
Yeah.
And Gayle comes in and I say, "Oh, I want you to hear I want you to hear the speech that I was doing at the Golden Globes." And Gayle goes, "Look, I just want to talk to you about something. I know."
Did I say it like that?
Yes, you did. You said it's not going to be good for you, but
I did say
I
that.
think it would be good for the country. And I'm like, get out of here. I wanted you to come listen to the speech. So I believe that for everything that anybody does, there is a feeling, not just voices outside yourself telling you to do something, but there's a feeling that you have about, yes, this is the direction I should move in.
Is that feeling grace? Some people call that grace. Grace gives you the ability to see, or is it?
I think it is an instinct, it is an intuition, I call it your internal guidance system, your own personal GPS that says this is the way.
No,
and so,
I also think, Oprah, nobody should be convinced to run to run for the presidency. But I also think you have a very unique ability in terms of healing and connecting all people. And
I have great compassion for people.
Yes,
I do that.
I know
but
that.
I think you
I know
need
that.
more than compassion to be the president of the United States.
What do you think Maya would say? It's one of these times I really wish Maya was here. What do you think that she would say? You would certainly ask
She'd
her.
say, "Baby, listen to your own heart."
I read somebody said that if you ran, the day you decided to run, half the country would hate you immediately.
That is true.
Why
How
are
would
you
that
telling
make
her
you
that,
feel?
Bianna?
How would that? Because I feel that she could
Why are you
overcome
telling her
it.
that?
She could overcome it. It doesn't have to be.
You are not helping.
There's always hope. There's always hope. People
No,
will be-
even Gayle said when she comes in to try to convince me that I should run for president, says, "Look, it's not going to be good for you." She goes, "It's not even going to be good for me."
Yes.
But you should do it.
Because somebody told me you'd have to leave your job at CBS. I go, why do I have to leave my job at CBS?
I think you might.
No, I don't. I could be very impartial. I could be very impartial.
Looking out for
Gayle
you,
is always looking out for you.
Thank you.
And us.
Thank you all. Thanks for all this
Great to
time.
meet you.
Thank you. Great to meet
Well,
you.
if they let
Wonderful
me leaving
movie.
CBS,
Wonderful
then maybe you need to rethink that. I don't want to go nowhere. I thought Bianca's question about you being insecure was interesting because I've never.
I know I didn't
seen
answer
it.
the question. I just
You didn't.
Well, it never shows.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Thank you.
I'll answer that next
Okay.
time.
Yes.
Well, A Wrinkle in Time, go see it. It opens nationwide on Friday. It's a fantastic movie.